Hi again, it's Mr. Dude from dudebox.com. I want to show anybody out there that's got a question on how HTML works in this demonstration. Basically, when you try to explain HTML to someone, they don't quite get how the code works. So I thought, what better way than using some audio, a little bit of video, and actually walking you through how you can create a web page from nothing other than just using Notepad and a couple images, and also I'll show you how to check your work as you do it. So what we're going to do, we're going to open up Notepad. I like to go to Start, Run, type Notepad. It's a lot faster than doing, Start, All Programs, Accessories, all that. So here's Notepad. We're going to go File, Save As. We're going to name the file example.html. Doesn't really matter what this part of the name is, it just has to be .html. We're going to save it to the desktop. If your default is, my documents or my pictures, just click on this drop-down arrow, go to desktop. We want to see everything we're working on. That's why it's good to work on the desktop. It's also why I recommend that people download to the desktop. You'll see these other files here. I'm going to embed a sound file in our HTML. Display this image, display that image, and I'm going to put them both in a table. I'll show you how to do all that. First thing we need is the HTML tag so that the web browser of choice, whichever web browser you're using, Internet Explorer, Firefox, Opera, whatever it is, will know to start reading the HTML code. This symbol, the less than and the greater than, that's how the browser determines that it's an HTML tag. This symbol right here tells the browser to turn off whatever HTML tag or HTML code or attribute you're using. Sometimes you can use standalone tags. Here's an example of one of those. That will give you a horizontal rule. They usually are pretty easy to understand if you just think about it. And obviously as you code more, it's easier to understand what the tags mean. So B, that's right, stands for bold. And we got to turn the bold off because otherwise everything on the entire page would be bold. We don't want that. At least I don't right now. That does italics or italicizes print. Got to turn off the italics. Just going to give you a couple quick examples. That BR stands for line break, so that bold will be on top, italics will be on the bottom. Then we'll have a horizontal rule. We're actually going to do a couple attributes to horizontal rule here. We'll tell it we don't want shade. We're going to tell it to be the size of 1, so it's a nice thin line. And then we'll pick a color. We'll specify the color of that horizontal rule. We'll go ahead and use this green that I've already got here in ColorPad. And remember to use the color pad. Once the color's inside there, just Control-C, we'll copy it, and then Control-V on the keyboard, we'll paste that in there. So we've saved that. Let me do just a little bit more here so you can see what we're trying to achieve. When you do a table, you need a row and you need a cell. And of course, those are not standalone tags, so you're going to want to turn them off. You want to turn them off in the same order, just kind of mirror it that you turned them on. There we have a table. And I actually want to do another row and another cell. The reason I'm separating them there is so that I can mentally visualize what it's going to look like. So there's one cell, one row. I'm going to do one more row and one more cell. Tables are more complicated than just basic HTML, but they're very helpful, which is why I want to go over them, in controlling where things appear on your page. So is the div command for that basically will align a division. I believe that's what it stands for. So div align equals center. We're going to center the table in the middle of the page, and of course we have to turn off that div command so that the entire page is not centered. Okay, we got a pretty good start there. I'm going to put an image source equals, and the file name needs to be exactly the same. So that's the file right here. And we'll put this one. I actually want to do that reverse. And you can see I messed my code up, so good thing I just caught it. TD needs to be turned off first, and then TR to match the way they appear in order here. That would have messed up my code. Now you can see why, Dreamweaver or some sort of program that will keep this stuff straight for you obviously will help you build a web page a lot faster. All this coding right here really isn't going to show us a lot. You'll see that in just a minute. Let me embed the sound that I have. Me playing on the guitar. It's not that great, but good example of how to embed a sound. We could obviously apply more attributes, but I don't want to do anything more than what we've got going here. We're going to go with one more image, and we're pretty much done. So image source is what that stands for, and then the file name. You do have to make sure that the spelling is exact when you're doing this. One little mess up will cause the image to be broken or could ruin your table. So you do have to be careful to make sure everything is exact. Okay, so we've saved that, and we're going to double click. Here's the file we're working on, this example HTML file. We'll get ColorPad out of the way. Okay, we don't need to hear the whole song. Anyway, you'll notice that this is nice and controlled, and that's nice and controlled. This is not centered, though, so it'd probably look better if that was centered. And that's the dudebox.gif file, which is right here. We're designing a web page here. We're using relative links instead of absolute links. Anyway, just wanted to give you a quick demo on that. If we wanted to keep this from moving, we would put it in the table here, and we'd center this. That would make it look a little bit better. But that's basically the basics there. Should give you a pretty good idea of how HTML works. One last thing though, let me show you where the table appears. Otherwise that's kind of mysterious, and the whole point of this is to make it not so mysterious. So I just put border equals 1 on the table, gave it the attribute, and I'll refresh the web page. And now you can see a little slight border around that. You can see the little cell there. We could even give it a color. That's the code for black. It's not where I wanted it to go. I believe it's BG color to do the background of the table. You can tell I don't have all the colors memorized. There, now you can see the black around that. Makes it a little more obvious. Anyway, that's pretty much how you do HTML from scratch. Thanks for watching.